Let's Podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We're inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to Empire Properties. And thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything to the cloud. No surprises, no guesswork, no I didn't know this rule existed. What do you mean the refs can just award you touchdowns? What? No, none of that stuff. Copiers Plus, no surprises. It's all there. They'll help you out. They got technicians that can do that for you.
That was the highlight of the entire weekend.
Kind of was, right?
I mean, come on.
I didn't realize that was a thing, but it makes a lot of sense.
They have been warned.
We will give you point. I will stop this car. That's what that was.
I will turn this game around.
We are not going to the beach if you keep this up.
We will put them directly in the Super Bowl. And good for Frankie Louvu, though. Just jump in and being like,
screw it. Anyway,
you want to do the push, tush, push.
Look, man,
I'm going to jump in your bush.
Given how the NFC Championship game went, shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to Nick Sirianni, who completely changed the conversation from where we were at the beginning of the season to the man is in the Super Bowl again.
Yep.
So that's really, really freaking impressive with Jalen Hurts and the crew. And they did it limping into it too, man. I mean, when Will Shipley's getting burned late,
they're trying to preserve.
Dude, they had injuries on the offensive line. Yeah. They're trying to preserve. I understand why they were doing all that stuff. So given how the NFC Championship game ended up being a blowout and how we had another classic between the Bills and the Chiefs, and there were two crucial 50-50 calls that went the Chiefs' way, I told myself, don't you dare listen to any national shows today because we know how the narrative is going to go.
Okay.
In fact, I wanted to start it with you dumping the Gatorade early in the text messages with me while watching the Chiefs and the Bills.
That was tactical, sir.
Oh,
that was for my financial reasons.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm sitting here. Where's the text message here?
You're not familiar with the reverse jinx, apparently.
I texted you at 7:27 right after. I'm like, Kansas City makes mistakes and the other team capitalizes that? Wild concept. I didn't think that was allowed, right? Because everybody gets mad at the Chiefs. And you had pointed out, Nance they haven't turned the ball over since Vietnam, Jigs. Yeah. And then all it took was me betting on them. First time since the Super Bowl, they lost to Brady. And of course the Chiefs go on to win. And I'm like, you dumped the Gatorade too early, Joe.
No, that was on purpose. That was tactical.
I see.
Yeah. I thought they were going to lose. I did.
Okay.
Because they hadn't made the mistakes before.
Yeah.
You hadn't seen the turnovers before.
Yeah.
And the stops. By the way, stops they're not mistakes. They're good plays by the other team.
Sure.
We haven't seen other defenses so much as stop them in the way that they had in the Bills in the second half of that football game. So, and let's be honest, the way that the Bills were running the football, I thought they, were just going to run again and go down and score and make it theirs.
It wasn't just the runs. I get that because I've seen some second guessing there late, just run the damn ball. James Cook has been fantastic, right? But you know who else was throwing freaking lasers out there? Josh Allen. Josh Allen had some amazing freaking throws in this game. Amazing. And Dalton Kincaid is the Mark Andrews of the week. In that, I get the situations are a little bit different, and but the situations are the same in that we don't know how the rest of the game goes. But Mark Andrews drops a ball he should have caught. Dalton Kincaid, for all the wizardry of Spagnuolo and unleashing hell there on that blitz on the fourth down, Josh Allen still gave him enough time and tried to make a play that all it took was Kincaid to catch it, to cradle that thing, and they would have had a first down, and he doesn't. And then the Chiefs had another chance after that, okay? They had another chance. It was, 3rd and 9? I think it was. And all they have to do, they use their timeouts, proper clock management. There was a $1:32 left in the game. All they got to do is stop the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't even know the guy's name who he threw it to, who
Samaje Perine.
Right. And that's kind of where...
First touch of the game.
That's kind of
Only
where...
touch of the game.
That's kind of where people get so upset. It's like the scene from the original Batman movie, the original Tim Burton Batman movie with the Joker. And it's like, where does he get these wonderful toys? It's like, how do these guys keep making these plays? Where are these guys coming from? I joked about this with you before we got recording. If Dalton Kincaid was wearing a Kansas City Chiefs uniform, he probably makes that catch. Roles reversed. It's the Bills who throw the blitz. And Patrick Mahomes is running around. He tries to make a play happen. He heaves the ball up in the air. Kincaid probably catches that as a Chief. But no, it's the Bills. So no, you're going to drop the ball. And no, Ryan's the one who comes out of nowhere to make a crucial third down conversion. And I can see why people are like, what in the entire hell? How do they keep doing this, Joe?
So let's give 2 kudos here. Number 1 to everyone on draft day who said, now wait a second. You let the guy who just ran the fastest 40 in the history of the combine get to the Chiefs?
Xavier Worthy?
At the end of the first round?
Yeah.
I thought Worthy was a playmaker, a difference maker in this game, right? Like Patrick, as Giselle once famously said, my husband cannot both throw the ball to himself and catch it.
Yeah.
So someone on the other end of it has to make a play. I thought Worthy, particularly in the first half of this game, was a difference maker for Kansas City in the way that they were using him, because it was clear this was not going to be a Travis Kelce game. It was clear this was not going to be that. And one of the true genius of Andy Reid is understanding, and also Belichick in his prime with the Pats. Oh, really? Oh, you don't think I could beat you without my fastball? Watch me.
Yeah.
Watch me. Watch me just let Kelce be a decoy and attract all the defense and let us do other things. So I thought, number 1, everyone on draft day who was like, you did what? You let the Chiefs get what? So all of those people were right. I also want to give this to Nick Wright because he's got this one right. Nick Wright, Fox, does great. He's a big Chiefs fan, but he does a great job.
Yeah.
He said straight up, you guys don't get it. He goes, the Bills are the ones who traded the Chiefs the pick to get Patrick Mahomes. This is the same thing as Babe Ruth. They're never getting over on the Chiefs while they have Patrick Mahomes ever. This is it. He's like, this is why you're not cursed or anything. It's just you're never getting over on that guy. So you're the ones who were on the clock and then traded the pick to the Chiefs to use the pick to get Patrick Mahomes.
Let's go big picture here before we go back to the game, because I know you have takes. I think the best way to get into the big picture and what we're witnessing here and why I'm confused by some of the reaction to what's happening with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs starts with this OG Sports phone call.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Fun new fact for 2025 when it comes to the OG Sports phone. It's brought to you by Nature's Relief.
It is. And this is a perfect marriage of sponsorship and benchmark.
Yes.
Because even I was getting ramped up last week about the sports phone. And that's what the sports phone's for.
It is.
It's a release.
Curse or don't.
Curse or don't.
This call has a lot of curse words, so
it's a
if
curse
you have
or don't.
Children in the car listening, understand this sports phone has a lot of curse words.
So the best way to probably position ourselves in 25 with this sports phone is, hey, you know what? Let's use the sports phone. We'll vent, and then we'll chill. Thanks to our friends at Nature's Relief Hemp Store. Check them out. Western, Timber Drive and Garner, Holly Ridge, out off the OG out there on Glenwood, past, out there by the old Best Buy.
Take a gummy and then go to the steakhouse.
So yes, Nature's Relief, our friends, now proud sponsors of the OG Sports Phone.
Dude, fuck the NFL, man. We just watched the Super Bowl 2 fucking years ago, and I didn't want to see it then. I don't want to see it now. Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck the Eagles. I don't fucking care. Fuck you. Get the fuck out. God damn it. Hey, how about we play some fucking football instead of do this fucking pussyfooting fucking bullshit? Fuck!
This person,
curse or don't, man.
This person texted immediately after they had called.
Yeah.
Because I matched the numbers. I don't think this is from 919. I don't think I really said what I wanted to. Excuse me? I think you did. I just get so worked up. What I was going to say is I'm not watching the Super Bowl, and I'm going to go on a 2-week crusade to get as many people as I can to not watch it with me. Fuck the NFL. They took one of the few things about civilization that was good, and they made it suck. And I'm at a loss.
Well, you know my theory. The NFL can't let the Bills or Browns win the Super Bowl because then they become Major League Baseball, then they're marginalized. So it can't happen.
No. What's happening here is something that I wish people who are enthusiasts of sports, who claim they watch these documentaries and they understand what happened with Jordan and they understand yada, yada, right? What we are witnessing in real time is the kind of stuff you're going to get 30 for 30 documentaries in 20 to 30 years, okay? What's happening with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and I say Patrick Mahomes because the NFL discourse is basically boiled down to the quarterback. They are the main characters for the NFL. They are the main characters for your franchise. The only way you get to be discussed is if you have a guy, straight up. And unfortunately, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are at a level that the Bulls were with Michael Jordan in the 90s. I don't know how else to put it. And what's happening is these great careers just happen to be happening while one of the greatest to ever do it is also playing. I don't know how else to frame it. It doesn't take away from Josh Allen. It doesn't take away from Lamar Jackson. It doesn't take away from, heck, Joe Burrow. It doesn't, hey, if Jalen Hurts loses again to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes is on the other end, hey man, so be it. Essentially what's happening, and this is not, I admit, this is not like some galaxy brain thought that I came up with. I think Nate Burleson was the one who hammered this point on the post game last night, and he's absolutely correct when he says this. We are witnessing in real time history. We are witnessing greatness. And it made me wonder, because I was too young. I was a teenager when the Bulls were doing their thing. So it wasn't like I was locked into sports talk radio. I was just taking in the highlights and like, man, this is amazing. This is awesome. Michael Jordan's the best, blah, 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 blah. And we get old. We get cynical. We want our teams to win. We're sick and tired of seeing this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, and somebody older has to explain this to me. I got to imagine that in the 90s, there was a sentiment of, man, F the Bulls. F Michael Jordan. I'm sick and tired of this shit. The league wants this to happen. Like the Jordan rules, like all that stuff existed back then, right?
The NFL is bigger than the NBA was, so there was not the same singular focus on the NBA at the time.
But Michael Jordan was the biggest thing on the planet.
Michael Jordan was the biggest thing on the planet. Michael Jordan also had a universal appeal. So you really would have had to have gone to like Detroit or New York. And even in New York, where I was growing up in New Jersey and people were Knicks fans, there was always an appreciation of Jordan.
Okay.
And I think I'm not here to choose violence on a Monday, but
just say, go ahead.
No. It's not you. It's the analogy doesn't work in this sense.
Okay.
And gosh, I hate defending Jordan, but you're actually shortchanging Jordan.
Okay.
Because I believe if you put Lamar Jackson or if you put Josh Allen with Andy Reid in this situation in the same way, maybe they don't win 3 in a row, maybe they don't win 4 total, but they still win.
Okay.
There was never a point in the 90s where anyone said, if you put Barkley on the Bulls, if you put Akeem on the Bulls, if you put Clyde Drexler on the Bulls, they would do the same thing in that situation, right?
Well, can you say the same thing about Phil Jackson?
Yes and no. I don't think so, because there was a perfect marriage of the way that the Bulls played and how he positioned them without a big man, without a point guard. It was a great marriage, but ultimately Jordan proved to be a cut above all of those other players. The one player on his team was the one who could guard him. Actually, the two, Rodman and Pippen.
Fair.
So that's kind of where I'm getting at. It gets a little muddled.
It's not all that different than Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in that it just so happens that all those quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, oh man, not only do you have Tom Brady on the other end, but you have the one coach who understands how to cook up and stop you.
Sure.
On the other end. And that's the case with the Chiefs too, with how they play defense. And Spagnuolo, for heaven's sake. Their defense is another level.
I will say this for Mahomes, and he said it immediately on the field after the game. They are a true team. They really are.
Yeah.
And I know people get caught up in him, and people get caught up in the referees, and people get caught up in the calls. The truth of the matter is the Chiefs, they made more mistakes in this game than they have ever made.
And they still found a way to win.
And they still figured it out how to win the football game.
They still scored over 30 points for the first time all freaking season because they knew what they needed to get. And that gets back to Patrick Mahomes. It's not like Patrick Mahomes had a lot of design runs for him this year.
No, nor should he, because you don't want to risk him.
But when it came time,
money's on the table.
Money's on the table. Guess what they had to do? Well, they went to Patrick Mahomes. If you want to knock Patrick Mahomes for not being the greatest because he doesn't know how to spike the ball, I'm here for it. That's fine. That's fair. But that's where we're at. I mean, honestly, that's where we're at.
I've never seen a player to drill in a little bit on this.
Yeah.
I've never seen a player like Mahomes in any sport where when he has to make a play, when his team needs a play to be made, he cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Lamar Jackson can.
Yeah. I mean,
Josh Allen has.
Cannot. So I will say that about the way that they were able to win this football game, in spite of the early mistakes, in spite of what I thought with Buffalo running the football.
Mm-hmm.
When they took James Cook out in some of those later drives, I'm sitting here going,
yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Right.
And some of this stuff gets to the kind of galaxy brain of your best players have to be your best players. You have to keep them on the field. So even if you're not going to Travis Kelce, there's a value in having him on the field while the other team pays attention to him.
Mm-hmm.
Taking James Cook out of this football game, I was kind of like, who do you think, like, who else are you going to, right? And even Nance in real time was saying, well, they got rid of Gabe Davis. They brought in Matt Collins. They gave him the same jersey. They're running the same routes. They're catching the same touchdowns, right? So you get this in your head that all these guys are replaceable. Same with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I can get rid of Tyreek Hill. Well, I don't need Tyreek Hill. And it's like, you get this in your head that I can just replace anybody. But I thought that was the one thing I didn't like that the Bills did. They had the one spectacular drive where they seemingly took control of the game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're taking Cook out, and I'm going, well, why would you do that? Those are the kind of things, those are the kind of moments where I wonder if the other team realizes that the Chiefs formula is not only having Mahomes, but it's don't beat yourself. And it's, hey, it's a third down or a short yardage situation. We're going to roll the quarterback out, give him some different options. If he has to run, he has to run.
Look,
if I need to dump it off to the running back that no one's ever heard of, I'm going to dump it off to the running back no one's ever heard of.
I'll say this to close the conversation. Look, Bills fans, you might be feeling down, and I don't know, maybe we give wings to some Bills fans that are out there. There's got to be a combo. I know there are combo Buffalo Bill NC State people out there. Like, I don't know, give them a 50-pack of wings from our friends over at Wings Over. We haven't talked about Wings Over in a while. Shout out to Ryan. But I don't know, maybe we do that and a Wegmans tote bag for all I know. In the radio days, that would have been a really great promotion to do, a real great contest.
Only if you planned it like 5 weeks ago.
Well, that's true. That's true. We had to predict that this was going to be the case 5 months ago because, planning is important. Regardless, you might feel bad, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're still not the Giants.
Yeah.
You could have the Hard Knocks segment haunt you with like I saw a supercut of the Mara
and then keep that GM.
Right. I've seen a supercut of Mara saying, man, the last thing I want to happen is for him to go to the Eagles and touchdown. And now they're in the freaking Super Bowl.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to Enovana. Check them out. Enovana.com. Green cleaning solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
This week is the week. The Basketball Jones with Bomani Jones happening Friday at the Rialto. Go to Rialto.com to get your tickets. I get it. Times are hard. Coffee's about to go up by like $30 a pound. But
don't you start messing with my coffee supply.
Somebody hasn't been paying attention to the news. So if you're looking, because you got to save money to buy coffee this week, may I present to you free tickets to the Rialto, free tickets to see Bomani Jones, Tyler Hansborough, Marcus Ginyard, Lavelle Moten, Scott Wood, and the crew. All you got to do is email theoggoesdigital@gmail.com. Say you want a pair of tickets to the Basketball Jones on Friday, and we will contact you and make that happen.
Well, you got to follow us on our socials.
That's for tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Different.
We're doing it different every week.
Whoa.
Today, just email us.
Whoa.
Making it easy for you this week.
Whoa.
So just email us. You can also email us if you want in on the Sully's Golf and Gather Showdown that's taking place next week, set on February 5th, that Wednesday. You can come and hang out. You don't have to participate. It's all good. You can just come and hang out. But if you do, email Giglio, $15 entry. We got closest to pin, longest drive, and the 13 wood's going to be out
the
there.
OG shenanigans on the other bay. Yeah, we got 3 bays for 2 hours.
Yes.
That's how this works. If you know anything about these golf setups, it's $15 is an absolute steal. Plus, my guy Brad Frisch will be there, so you'll get to see me try to flail and wail away at trying to beat Brad. I'll be closing the place down.
That'll be fun. Big thanks to our friends over at Two Roosters. Saturday is going to be an all-timer at Two Roosters.
So I'm not even prepared.
It's cereal day.
And at the risk of undercutting Jared here with the cereal, this is all about the Bowberry biscuit Sunday. Like I got the whole month to eat the cereal. It's the Bowberry biscuit Sunday that he's opening up at 9:00.
Yeah.
All stores.
Yes.
9:00 because Saturday is National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day.
Yep.
So, okay. Yes. All the cereals. Great stuff. No doubt. Bowberry biscuit Sunday is exactly what you think it is. Unbelievable.
As they say, they literally never do this. So it's National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, Saturday, February 1st. Leprechaun's Delight.
Lucky Charms.
Brown Butter Rice Krispie Treat.
Rice Krispie Treats.
Cinnamon Coffee Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Frosted Fruity Crunch.
Fruity Pebbles.
Grape Nut Toffee. Now we're talking.
Ooh.
And non-dairy Puppy Chow, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. So they're going to be open up at 9:00. And then when you're done with that, may I suggest you go straight to O2 Fitness when you're done?
Before, I would go to
So much more than a gym.
You walk in there and you go, yo, I just had National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. It's time to sweat. So go to o2fitnessclubs.com. Yes, there's Renew Physiotherapy. Yes, there's Loop Nutrition, which you can worry about later after you have ice cream for breakfast. This is what it's all about. Go to a gym, sweat that thing out.
make good choices.
Make good choices. And then when you're there, sweating things out, make sure you are sweating in that Rowback. Go to rowback.com. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. Incredible, comfortable shirts, great gym shorts. It's all at Rowback. So you can sweat out that two roosters at O2 in your Rowback. I don't know if there's ever been a better amount of corporate synergy than what I just cooked up. So go to rowback.com. Use that promo code OG20. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is the columnist for the News and Observer. He is Luke DeCock. And Luke, we are living in strange times where we are in the second segment of today's podcast, and we are not going to ACC basketball. Oh, no. Because on Friday, the Canes changed the conversation with a big freaking deal. Let's start with, are you surprised they were able to pull this off?
No, that's a simple one. Tom Dundon's been trying to make a splash like this since he bought the team 7 years ago. He's a big believer in star power. This is a star. I mean, Mikko Rantanen is a star. This is a potential Hart Trophy candidate. This is a guy who's on his way to his third straight 100-point season. I mean, he's doing things that no Hurricanes player has ever done. And this is the biggest trade in Hurricanes history. I mean, you go back to the Whalers days, even Brendan Shanahan, Keith Primo, Rod Brindamore, Jordan Stahl. I mean, the only trade that compares to this is the Doug Weight trade. Now, Mikko Rantanen is night and day better player than late career Doug Weight. But the similarity between the two trades is January 2006, Hurricanes, kind of an upstart team. No one knew what to expect. We're coming out of the lockout. Going out and getting the biggest rental on the market was a massive statement of intent. And it sent a message not just to the rest of the league, but to the dressing room that, like, hey, we believe in you. Let's go for it. And they jumped the market and caught everybody by surprise. So that's not what happened here, although technically for the moment, Rantanen is a rental. But this is just players like of his caliber don't move that often. And when they do, it's usually not in the middle of the season. You know, Matthew Tkachuk was a summer deal. Jack Eichel, there's a little bit of a comparison there. Both those guys went to teams that then won the Stanley Cup, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's just, there was somebody trying to argue with me that when you looked at Rantanen's stats and Necas's stats, there wasn't that big of a difference. And that must be the same person who was concerned about replacing Tony DeAngelo with Brent Burns. Like, this is not the same species of player. Like, yes, it's okay to love Marty Necas. He's exciting and he's fast.
Yeah.
Obviously the Hurricanes were tired of his inconsistency and the fact that his vacation started the third week of April, but he was a good kid and he wanted to win, and he's won at every other level. And there's every reason to believe, especially with this little bit of a wake-up call, that Marty Necas goes on to become a great player in the NHL.
Sure.
There is no alternate universe where Marty Necas becomes Mikko Rantanen. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's more accomplished, he scores more. I mean, Mikko Rantanen's shooting percentage career-wise is 5 to 6 points higher than Necas, Andrei Svechnikov. This is, when you put him in a system that generates this many chances, you can reasonably expect him to score a lot of goals. Now, he's going to score a lot of goals wherever he plays. But in theory, he's a really good fit for what the Hurricanes do. Now, I can already hear you saying, right, but the Hurricanes system depresses their shooting percentages, and won't that happen to Rantanen too? I think this is an example of the kind of guy who has the skill to score in this system.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because he's literally better than anyone they have at it. And he creates chances and he plays hard and he's a proven playoff performer and all those things. Excuse me. You throw in Taylor Hall into the deal, which is really just a lottery ticket. If it works, great. If it doesn't, so what? But this is a guy who is a past MVP, a number one pick in the draft. Talent is unquestioned late in his career. This is a guy who might end up scoring 5 or 10 goals in the playoffs and being the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. So, and you give up a guy that you were a little bit frustrated with, and you give up a guy in Jack Drury who everyone loves and is a good team player and does a lot of things, a lot of intangibles.
You got to give up good players to get great players.
Right. My point is, Jack Drury is replaceable. You can get a Jack Drury for a 3rd or 4th round pick at the deadline. You cannot ever in this league get a Mikko Rantanen. And yeah, you got to give up talent to get talent. And Marty Necas may go on to have a great career. But this is apples and oranges. When you have a chance to get a Mikko Rantanen, you do it.
Let's go into the Wayback Machine. I know, Giglio, you put this out on Twitter. We had talked to Eric Tulsky, was in July, right? And how'd you phrase it? We predicted a move like this for the Canes when Tulsky joined us? I don't remember this. I don't even remember the last segment we did. So I'm going to have to, let's all listen in, shall we, Luke?
On the topic of salary caps, I think one thing baseball and salary space, one thing baseball really taught us is that there is value in having the money available, having in hockey, having the space available. So you may not make a sexy move. I'm not getting sexy vibes from you right now about what's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks. And quite frankly, what's available out there's not a Gensel, right? And the Marchessault ends up in Nashville. So there's probably not one guy out there that you can go get right now to make the majority of your fan base happy. But there is a value in that space, right?
Yep. Flexibility absolutely has value because things happen. And if a great player says he wants out somewhere and demands a trade and he has a big salary, there aren't going to be very many teams that can do it. And he might not want to go to some of those teams. And so there is, if that's a 10% chance of happening, but it's a franchise changer when it does, there may be some value in positioning yourself so that you can take advantage when it does, right? So that we do try to keep our options open. We want to be in on everything, and you can only be in on everything if you have the flexibility to do it.
And here we are with arguably the biggest deal we've seen in the NHL the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, one thing the Hurricanes have done really well the last 7 years, you look at, trading for Patrick Marleau and buying him out, or some of the other moves they've made. They've weaponized cap space. They've back in the earlier days of the Dundon era when they were suddenly a cap team after being at the floor for 15 years, they had cap space to spare. They would, a couple times they would pick up salary in trades and get a draft pick for it, being a banker. So, when you have cap space, you can weaponize it. The thing I think some people probably aren't comprehending now is, they hear, Mikko Rantanen wants 13, 14 million. The Avs wouldn't do it. Avs have to re-sign Cale Makar. The Avs could not give Mikko Rantanen. I mean, I think they were willing to go up to what McKinnon's making in the high 11s. Avs could not give Rantanen the salary he wants as one of the top 3 wingers in the game. Hurricanes get rid of Necas' 6.5. Cap goes up 4 next year. Brent Burns is replaced by Alexander Nikishin. There's $14 million. Like, this is literally like, you talk about weaponizing cap space. Not only could they make the move for the guy now and get Chicago to pick up salary so you can add a guy like Taylor Hall and leave yourself some flexibility if you do have to make a break glass in case of emergency move for a goalie. But you are in a position where you've set yourself up for next season where you can re-sign this guy without blinking. Like, you don't even have to make a move to re-sign this guy. And that's the kind of crazy thing about this, and really the real similarity to the Way trade. This was supposed to be an in-between year for the Hurricanes. Like, next year, this summer 25, ton of cap space, ability to make a big move, ability to make a splash. The team has played so well, sort of unexpectedly a little bit with all the players they lost. Remember, last July, everyone's panicking. Oh, these guys are gone. What are they going to do? They moved very smartly and efficiently in the free agent market. Eric Robinson, Jack Roslovic. They brought in guys, the D. Walker and Gostisbehere. They brought in guys who fit their system at reasonable prices. and that left them in a position where they could make a move like this. Well, now the timetable's moved up. Now you got to go for it. Because if you're this good and you make this trade, and this is a vote of confidence in what they've seen from Freddie since he's been back and the feedback they're getting on his knee and how he feels, this is now you're in. So you've moved up the timetable a year. And as we've talked about before, these windows, they open and close, and the window certainly with that core group of Pesci and et cetera certainly closed last summer, but they've managed to wedge the window back open ahead of time, really almost a full year ahead of schedule. So they've gone from a transition year to just picking up where they left off. And now with Rantanen, they've put themselves in a position where, they can move forward next year with a better roster, once some of these salaries come off the books. It really has changed the landscape of the NHL. It's a groundbreaking trade. And as I said, guys like this just don't move during the season. I will say this, and you guys already played a Tulsky clip, so we won't go into it. In his press conference, in his teleconference on Saturday, he was asked if this was the biggest splash the Hurricanes were going to make. And I was just
Joe was scrubbing through the Tulsky press conference, and
I wonder, like, if you go back to the 80s, was the Kings GM asked that after the Gretzky deal?
Right.
This is really interesting, but is this? Do you guys have anything else up your sleeve that's bigger than this? And I was just like, oh my God, how can you just not have so little comprehension of what this means? But, as I said, people were worried about Burns replacing D'Angelo. It's sometimes if you don't know all the ins and outs of this stuff, I'm certainly I'm not going to criticize any fan for not getting that, because they're not, talking to people and spending all day watching film or whatever. But I found that, like, Eric Tulsky makes the biggest trade in franchise history and gets asked, can you make a bigger splash? Like, yeah, they're gonna resurrect Gordie Howe by the deadline and put him in uniform.
Let's say biggest coming in, right? I think still trading Ron Francis for Zarly Zalapowski was probably for the Whalers, right? Like, that was like a true, like, okay, we give up. Fine. We're trading Ron Francis. The only good
I don't think that's a splash. I think that's a cannonball into the bottom of a quarry.
Yeah, I'm saying this is the opposite. I'm saying that was the biggest.
Yes. That was maybe the Penguins' greatest splash.
Yeah, this is the okay. Wait. We're getting that one back. When do we get the super line? By the way, I know Jarvis has been playing well with Stahl and Martinook, and I know what they're trying to do. But I was told last year that Gensel was too small to play with these guys. If he doesn't put the fucking super line together, I don't know what we're doing. Honestly.
Well, the super? I need to clarify this. The super line to your mind is Jarvis, Aho, Rantanen.
Yes.
That is an incredible commentary on Andrei Svechnikov, and one of the reasons why the Hurricanes made this deal. If Andrei Svechnikov was the player they thought he was going to be when he was drafted, he's getting the Rantanen money quickly.
Yeah.
So I just want to point that out. That's the fact that you're asking that question that way, and not when our 37 and 20 and what's he wearing? 89, 97, 36, 52.
He got
96. He's wearing Roslovic's number, right?
Yeah. I want to know the details of that deal, by the way.
I mean, if you're Jack Roslovic, you signed a 1-year deal. You got like all these goals. You're going to get paid next summer, and a dude comes in for your number. Like, what else can go right for Jack Roslovic?
I think we're all in agreement, though. As long as Sebastian Aho's not the best player on the team, then the Hurricanes, you have a chance to win the cup if Sebastian Aho is the second best player.
I'm going to pick up where you guys were left off a little while ago, because his name didn't come up. Well, his name did come up briefly. If Sebastian Aho is your Scottie Pippen, you got a chance to do something.
Yeah.
Because that puts you in a position where you can do some things. And, if Svechnikov can be your Rodman or whatever, I think the way this works is it takes some of the pressure off Aho. It takes some of the pressure off Svechnikov. It takes some of the pressure off Jarvis. Even Hall's arrival takes some of the pressure off guys like Robinson and Roslovic. It lets people slot into positions where they can be more successful. And look, losing Marty Necas hurts. They are going to have to make an adjustment on the power play.
But here's where
were a big part of that.
But this is where I start getting into and I had put this out on social media. You and I have texted about this. Say what you want about Tom Dundon. He has absolutely followed through on the I'm about this. We can get into the nitpicking about ancillary things around the Carolina Hurricanes. He has absolutely followed through on the product on the ice matters. That's what matters. You win, you go. You don't care about beer prices if they're winning. Straight up, hard stop. And he's right. He's absolutely right about that. And the Natchez stuff, the Andre stuff, this is to me what I've been, it's almost like a validation of what I've been complaining about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes and in the postseason. Much like the NFL can get very knuckle-draggy base conversations about the quarterback, the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs can sometimes be a little too simplistic with the goaltending. And the Carolina Hurricanes attitude, or the fans' attitude, is, well, this hot goaltender. Well, then why is it that the Canes are always facing a hot goaltender? Have you ever thought that maybe you're not really challenging said goaltender, even with all your shots, right? And to your point about Natchez, hey, man, great start. Cool. You got to do that in April. Hey, Andre, love you, mean it, but hey, man, we got to do this in April. So this, to me, is like the final, fine. The guys that we've invested in have not lived up to what we want. So now we're going to go and get that guy in Rantanen, right? That's how I read this, because I've made the joke. Hey, man, there's multiple ways to win hockey games. You get all caught up in the goalies, but you ain't going to win these games 2-1 all the freaking time. You got to freaking score. And that, to me, is what this indicates.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's doubling down on the idea that, there's a bigger meta argument that all three of us have had over the years is, can this system win in the postseason? Does volume win in the postseason, or do you have to value quality over quantity? And that's what's, the Rangers, the Panthers, the teams that have eliminated the Hurricanes have valued quality over quantity, the Lightning. Yep. And then, so to me, this is doubling down on the idea that what we're doing it's very analytically focused. We're going to create chances. We're going to create shots. We're going to create expected goals, and we're going to count on that working. Now, what Rantanen does is he gives you a chance to finish a lot more of the chances you create. So this is going to be a great test for the sort of global philosophy of shot volume over shot quality, because he's going to give you both. I mean, when you look at his career, he has finished chances at a very high rate. Finishing is a skill. Like, people who have to get over it, if there is a discernible year-to-year consistency. It goes up and down like goalies. There is a discernible year-to-year consistency in finishing. It's a measurable skill. You know who else has it? Taylor Hall.
Yeah. And that's speaking of this isn't the old Canes, right? I mean, that guy signs his contract back in 2021. He's got 10 teams as a part of his modified no movement, and the Canes were a part of it. Now he's here. So
I mean, that's and to your original point about Dundon and this, he has done what he said he would do when he got here. He was going to put a cap. He was going to spend to the cap. He was going to weaponize whatever cap space they had. They were going to approach the draft differently. Their sort of little Moneyball version of the draft, which, like Jackson Blake, not a player that a lot of other teams were interested in, obviously, by how far he fell. There's a defenseman in Sweden that you guys have literally never heard of, named Joel Nyström, who they took in the 6th round, is going to be here next year.
Right.
Those are the things that differentiate long-term success. When you look at the players the Hurricanes drafted late under Jimmy Rutherford and under Ron Francis, their late round picks are it's incredible. I mean, the success of 02 and 06, you can argue, was built on hitting on mid-round picks like Joe Wasicek and Eric Cole, and guys that they took in the 3rd and 4th round that turned into legit NHLers. That's got to be the base and foundation of your success. They're getting there now. The fact that Jackson Blake came on and flew past a 1st round pick in Bradley Nadeau, that's what has to happen for you to be successful year after year. You need a couple of those, and they went a long time without any of them.
Now, speaking of Finnish, we'll close on this. It's time, Luke. I mean, you're the one who found this game. It's called Finnish Cottage Simulator. And the description
for the podcast.
By the way, if you're not watching on YouTube, this is a real game that you can get on Steam right now. It's a simulation game. Finnish Cottage Simulator is the ultimate cottage experience. Relax and enjoy the Finnish summer nature. Go to the sauna, get drunk, grill food, and play games with others. This was released in November of last year. The
reviews are terrific, by the way. Do they have the block game? What's that called that you guys like to play?
Oh, the Mjolki, right?
Mjolki. Do they have Mjolki in here?
Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, you get an axe, You're wearing like a really nifty sweater. There's like a very reasonable looking car.
I think that's a Soviet block car. Too.
Guy's chopping wood. He's making things. Maybe he's making a multi-game for all I know. This is a multiplayer experience. So at what point do the three of us go to the locker room and we get Aho, we get Rantanen, we get KK, and we're like, hey, hit up some of the old guys. What's Yanni Hakanpää up to these days?
Oh man, let's you know who would actually probably do this in career mode with us if we asked him is Ronta. He's playing in Switzerland. Ronta would be like, guys, when are we playing simulator? It's 9:00 here in Switzerland. When are we getting together to play? Like that dude would think this. He would get his kids playing. Like Ronts would be all over this.
Now here's the question: would Seth Jarvis get involved with this one? Because he's a gamer.
Well, and he's not only that wasn't even where I thought you were going. He's an accidental Finn.
He is an accidental.
The story about Brent Burns' wife thought he was Finnish when he started coming over for dinner because, as he said, I hung out with all the Finns and my English isn't great.
So we've already established with Aho that we do dumb games. We've already
so you've got a shtick established.
So I think the three of us, when's their next availability? I think the three of us go. I'll bring the laptop. I'll have it ready to go. We're just like, hey guys, you in?
I got to practice.
And here's the thing: it is multiplayer. We could all have our own versions, and like when they're on the road, we could just ding them with an invite. You guys want to get together for a session? Let's hit the sauna and have some long drink and hang out.
The virtual sauna.
What's up in Edmonton, fellas? Let's get in the
Animal Crossing for Finns. I mean, for heaven's sake.
I love it. Yeah. I love everything about it. I haven't bought it yet, but obviously I'm going to. I'm kind of waiting for it to get from alpha to beta, to be honest, because I don't want there to be any issues. I want it to be a seamless experience right when I start. But yeah, here's the other thing, and it probably is easier than the laptop. We have to check and see if this is Steam Deck compatible.
I think it is.
And then invest in some Steam. Then what we could do is, bring in 5 or 6 Steam Decks in the locker room, and everybody could be sitting in front of their locker playing Cottage Simulator on their Steam Decks.
So it is Steam Cloud family sharing. It pairs with Xbox controllers and it is Steam Deck compatible. It is Steam Deck compatible. Now, the OG Media LLC does not have the budget for a bunch of Steam Decks. Does the N&O budget?
What is Steam Deck?
Steam Deck is like a Nintendo Switch for Steam.
Yeah, it's a portable,
like a little handheld.
Oh,
so think Switch, but for computer games.
Okay.
So you could play them on a plane or whatever without your laptop.
Yeah.
Does the N&O have that budget?
No, we don't need it. We don't need it because Lenovo just came out with a Steam Deck compatible device.
Now I know who will pay for them. Get to work. Get to work, business leaders, entrepreneurs.
Let's freaking go. All right. I think I know the right person to hit up on that one. So maybe we can get 6 Steam Decks and just play Finnish Cottage.
Preloaded with Finnish Cottage Simulator. When I found that, I was just, it's one of the happiest days of my life.
Luke DeCock, columnist, Students Observer. All right. We're going to switch over to basketball. Who you got tonight?
I wish I could say State just to be different, but Duke's a relentless killing machine right now.
Dude.
What they did at Wake, basically throwing that game away and then doing the old Jim Boeheim, I learned this at the Olympics thing, and going with the zone, which literally Cooper Flagg was like, Shire was like, have you ever played zone? He goes, nope. Literally never played it before. And they were honestly a little lost in the zone, but Wake was so thrown off by it. And you know what? This is when you guys will know. What happens to your offense when you're good on the defensive end? It's a classic Bayism. Our defense led to our offense.
Amazing.
We got stops. That was amazing. That was so. Anyway, that is what happened. They started getting stops. They went down and scored. They got some momentum offensively. They came back and obviously ended up winning the game. I love Wake's team. Like the fact that Steve Forbes has gone from a team that could only score and couldn't defend to a team that can really defend and occasionally score. Like that to me is shows what his chops as a coach.
Yeah.
He also gave us a long soliloquy afterwards on guarding Cooper Flagg and compared him to several players, including Durant, where he said, hey, look, man, we were great against Durant. We held him to 35.
Luke DeCock, columnist, News and Observer.
See you guys.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Yes, it is basketball season, and Home Field has all the basketball goods that you need. Hoodies are fantastic. I just ordered another pair of sweatpants, Joe, because you can earn points while
You're all in now on these sweats.
You're never going to see me in public, but that's neither here nor there because I have standards. But at home, I'm super comfortable, man.
You're good.
So the cool thing about multiple purchases from Home Field, you get points along the way. And I utilized all the points that I've accumulated over the year and applied it to a new pair of sweatpants, and I saved $30.
Very smart.
Very, very smart of me. You can do the same. You can get started at Home Field by using OG24 as the promo code. That's going to save you 15% off. And it goes beyond these hoodies. I mean, I can't recommend the hoodies enough. I can't recommend the sweatpants enough. But we're talking amazing bomber jackets, corduroy hats, everything that you're looking for. They've got it at Home Field. So check them out, homefieldapparel.com. Although I do need to mix in some Happy and Hail here down the stretch because all those large hoodies that I've purchased in the last year or so, I want to make sure they still fit and they're not extra large hoodie repurchases in 2025. So what do? You go to Happy and Hail.
Take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hail.
We will be taking lots of hockey breaks with that trade, and hopefully we'll have a nice long Stanley Cup run for the Carolina Hurricanes. And Happy and Hail, it's all about that. So check out the app. Download it. Makes it super easy for you. I will be going to Happy and Hail for lunch today over in North Hills.
One more week. We will have a promo code for you starting in February. We will be there next Thursday. Ooh, North Hills.
Exciting. My home base.
Yes.
Again, that's Happy and Hail. Big thanks to State Farm. Matt Davis over at State Farm. You want to save money on home and auto? Easy. Just call them. 919-779-8277. Take those savings to buy yourself a Steam Deck so you can get in on that Finnish Cottage simulator with all of us. Good times.
I still don't know what that is, but I will learn. I will learn.
Fair enough. So you can call them directly, or you go to the website, insuregarner.com or theoginsurance.com. Matt's going to help you out with saving money. And again, customer service is what matters. An actual human being on the phone.
What?
Okay?
Not allowed.
An actual human being.
What?
That's Matt Davis. And he's loving life because Duke is just running it right now. Big thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. You have a Super Bowl party that you might be catering or you might be hosting and you need somebody to cater it. Butcher's Market can do it for you. Maybe you've been invited to the Giglios for a Super Bowl party / birthday party.
Ooh.
You know what you could bring to that party? Ham biscuits.
Whoa.
Not more hot dogs because I know you got that covered.
We're down to 24 hot dogs.
I have a feeling I will see those at your house.
Make you some.
On the 9th. just call it a hunch. So go to thebutchersmarkets.com. Make it super easy. I mean, they got dips. They got sides. They got all the burgers and dogs you might need for a Super Bowl party. They got wings, which is clutch.
You know what else they have, which I've kind of gotten myself into a little bit? Like rubs and spices.
Yeah, man.
Because, you know, hey, sometimes you got to get meat where you can get meat, but other times you can make your meat really good with those spices.
Spices matter. And yes, we're about to talk hoops, folks. We're about to talk hoops. And every time we talk about the ACC, it's brought to you by our friends, the Donnelly team, Keller Williams Commercial. Check them out online at trianglencommercial.com, 919-616-8681, Joe.
Yeah, give them a call. Maybe your office space is too small. Maybe it's too big. I don't know. Maybe you need a better location. These are all things that Brian and Julie can help you with. Give them a call, 919-616-8681.
Perhaps you are looking for a Finnish Cottage simulator room somewhere. I don't know. You got to throw it out to them like, hey, I'm looking for a place to really just kind of live this Finnish cottage life in a warehouse
or
space.
A room that you need to explain to me what Steam Deck is.
So give them a call, 919-616-8681. Yeah, speaking of those meats, I mean, you might want to do it yourself, but I mean, the folks over at Sam Jones, they get it right every single time. Joe was enamored by the smokehouse for the barbecue.
Yeah. It was an awakening for me.
You want to be in there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you want to put the wood in, you want the charcoal going.
I want to chop the wood.
All that, like Finnish cottage simulator.
Yeah.
Right?
Except that Sam Jones downtown. Check him out. The beans. Trust me, the beans.
All right, let's go through some triangle hoops, shall we? Let's start with Duke and Wake. As we were discussing with Luke DeCock, he mentioned the whole zone thing, and that really was the key to that game. Wake Forest comes out breathing fire to start the second half.
Take a lead, put a little game pressure on Duke, which we haven't seen.
No, look, hey, man, we've been asking who in the ACC is going to give them a push.
Well, no, I told you who was going to give them a push.
Wake Forest was that team. Saturday, super spicy evening game. Good on Steve Forbes and Wake for not catching a lull after beating Carolina earlier in the week.
No Duke Carolina hangover there.
Nope, not. Apparently, it's possible. So off they go, but then Duke broke out the zone. Shire's interaction with Cooper Flagg about this was pretty damn hilarious. Let me make sure I have the audio up.
And adversity. What was the decision to go to zone and kind of slow it down? They kept using the pick and roll to kind of attack the bigs. Right. The 2-3 zone. What was just your assessment on it?
Yeah, well, we haven't played it. We've played it one possession all year. But we've kept it in our back pocket just in case. And it's good to have a curveball. It just is. And even if it's not maybe the best zone in the world, he had no idea what he was doing. And it looked like he's never played. Oh, have you ever played zone? Nope. All right. So
now, this whole business of like mixing in some zone, mixing things up, this all sounds very familiar to a conversation we were having last week, Joe.
Yeah, I've been trying to explain. Well, the coach of Carolina, the coach at State, like their fans, they have like certain expectations from the 80s about what a coach does.
Yeah,
like what traditionally a coach does.
Yeah,
and yeah. This was one of those options.
Right.
And it wasn't the coach from Carolina who did it. It wasn't the coach from State who did it, but rather the coach of Duke.
Has the light bulb finally gone on as to why people in Chapel Hill are freaking the fuck out?
Oh, well, their game. I mean, I'm sure we can get into it.
We're going to get into that game. We're going to get into that game. But what I'm getting at is when you watch Duke and you watch what John Shire is growing into.
Yes.
You go, win or lose, you look at Duke and you go, oh, that's like a competent college basketball program.
Yep.
Huh. You mean it's possible with like a team, like a university that has everything going for it? Money, national exposure, all this stuff. You mean they can look competent? That's crazy. And that's why people are acting the way that they're acting. Okay? And that's why people are freaking out. And there's another conversation about the ACC and challenging Duke and what they might have showed you in that game and all that kind of stuff. Cool. But yeah, as that was all unfolding, I was kind of cracking up, and I'm sure you were too, going, oh shit, wasn't I just saying this last week that basketball ain't what it used to be? And here's this guy who's younger than us going, well, actually, Joe,
we just want to put it in our back pocket because you have to have a curveball. And it's like, yeah, that's actually the reason to do it. Not because you're not good at it.
No.
Hey, just show them something different.
Just show them something different,
make
man.
them think.
Yep. And Wake didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I thought it was good for Duke to have the response to the game pressure. We haven't seen them have to play with game pressure since the Auburn game, which was at home.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'm going to dismiss everything they ever do at home. But the game pressure is important. And you're down 8, and you're sitting here going, okay, well, what are you going to do? And I thought Proctor was really good in that segment.
Big shot.
I thought he was good, though. And that's, to me, again, we're in full-fledged J.J. Redick territory when it comes to Duke. I think you just tell Cooper Flagg, go ahead, you beat us by yourself. And you try to choke off the other options. And so for Proctor to have the play in that segment, I thought that was the difference in the game. And they were handling the game pressure. Of course, Flagg was really, really good. He was.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't panic. He doesn't panic.
I've been trying to say that.
Even though he can make mistakes in some of these end game situations, he doesn't panic. The level of his consistent effort really is truly, truly remarkable.
And he's only 18, Joe.
And now he's only 18.
He just turned 18. And this is where I push back with some of the Duke ball knowers that get into actually mode. And I was bringing up Kyle Filipowski and those moments and being at Wake Forest, stuff like that. It's like, it's not about who's around Kyle Filipowski. It wasn't. It's about if he's the bus driver, how do you handle yourself? And Cooper Flagg handles himself at a level that we have not seen in a freshman in quite some time.
No.
It's pretty freaking impressive, man. And there's no guesswork either. Like we were talking about the Zion, RJ Barrett thing. There's no guesswork.
No.
We know what the deal is, and it's really incredible to watch. Now, to the team that Duke is playing tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium, we will be doing an After Dark tonight. I will be at Cameron. Joe, you'll be back here on the home base. 8:30 tonight.
Went to the game on Saturday, thanks to our friends at the Heister Automotive Group. Check them out, heisterauto.com. You can sell your car to the Heister Automotive Group. I didn't know if you know this or not, but you can. You can also give them a budget and say, hey, I got a first-time driver. I've got, what did James end up spending on his car? 10 grand?
Yeah.
About that?
I got a 10 grand
for a used car.
I got a 10 grand cap on Caleb's future
He got
car.
a Volkswagen Passat.
Nice.
Yeah. Decent mileage on it. 2014, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Did well. So you can do that with our friends at Heister. So I went to the game on Saturday.
Still waiting on Bennett to give me that Honda Element of my dreams.
I was not expecting a lot from either team.
Sure.
I did know that SMU's best player was Boopy Miller, the Wake Forest transfer. They also had Matt Cross, who spent time at Louisville and Miami.
Yeah.
So he's making the rounds across the ACC. They had a gigantic big who had a really good game. He's only a freshman. I was not expecting a lot, and I did not get a lot. But another one possession game for NC State, who's now made 5 3-pointers in 3 home losses. If they could just make 1 or 2 more, but they're at a point where I was interested in seeing this game. They got down in the first half, and I thought to myself, man, if there's ever a game where you're going to turn it in and not play, SMU on a Saturday at noon with maybe 9,000 people there.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to get run.
Sure.
They did come back in the second half. They can't shoot. I mean, it's kind of sort of what it comes down to.
That's really okay. So
he did play Paul McNeil more in this game, which I thought was good.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. This is when we go into the Sidney Lowe bag. Okay. One of the great Sidney Lowe-isms.
Well, your best players have to be your best players. And then they have to make shots. It's the only way you can win.
Gotta make shots.
And I'm watching State, and it finally dawned on me watching. I mean, I kind of knew this, but it really dawned on me on Saturday. They had the whole week off. They can talk about the reset. They can, blah, 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 right? They can't fucking shoot, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else you can. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah,
they can't shoot.
From JC, their last 3 home games, 8 of 53 from the 3-point line in losses to Carolina, Cal, and SMU. All of them, obviously, single possession late losses.
I don't know what else you can say. I mean, look, you can say, hey, man, the coaching staff whiffed on getting these players here. But I mean, if you can't make shots, what are we doing?
Yeah. The struggle is real.
The struggle is very real at this moment in time.
And, I saw Kevin last week, and I said to him, please don't let Monday get ugly. You know how I feel about them. He goes, Monday?
I'm not worried about Monday. Let's get past Saturday, which... I mean, let's just go ahead. Let's
playoffs.
Let's see what this is about. Let me go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and see what we got going on here. Scroll. Where's my Duke Carolina? Where's my Duke State game? Come on. Scroll. Nah, this is late at night. Where's my 8:30? Come on. Where is this? I'm stalling here. There it is. All right, Joe. This is a
21 and a half.
21 and a half. NC money line is plus 1,300. So no. So yeah, NC State to cover.
It's getting 21 and a half points.
To cover is minus 108.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're getting 21 and a half points. It's just a normal juice there, but I don't have great vibes about this.
No,
you know why?
Why?
Because there was a clip. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, of Jay Billis asking.
You didn't send me this clip.
Asking Shire how he has gotten over the final 8 loss. They don't mention NC State. He just mentions that you had a chance to go to the final 4.
Right.
And you lost a basketball game. Of course, they didn't mention NC State because that would dignify that they actually lost to NC State.
Uh-huh.
But it was you could tell that Shire was cooking something up, and I was like,
oh boy.
Oh no.
So this is the quick, you know me, I like my single game parlays. Right now, plus 140, NC State plus 12 spread first half and plus 21 spread for the game.
My Duke individual player radar is usually pretty good.
Okay. So what do you got here?
Did my guy not play great against Wake? Let's look.
What?
No, he had 15 points.
What, Knipple? Knipple was fine. He was fine.
Yeah, this is not a Knipple game.
Ooh, plus 420, over 56.5 NC State team total points, plus 11 for Marcus Hill.
Nope, you know who this game is for.
Who's this game for?
Malwatch did not score against Efton Reed or Wake Forest. Whatever his individual points are, take Malwatch's individual points over.
Okay.
That's the bet for this game.
Gotcha. So take the over on Malwatch. I'm looking at these quick game parlays. I don't see Malwatch in here, but maybe I can cook something up before tonight's game. These are the things that you can do with DraftKings. There's all sorts of customizable ways that you can put these things together. You can have the pre-baked quick single game parlays, or you can put something together yourself. But of course, I mean, y'all, it's time. We've been talking about the NFL. We've been talking about the Chiefs. We got the Eagles. We got the Super Bowl. You can do things like touchdowns. There's all sorts of fun and frivolity that you can get on DraftKings. All you need to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It is Super Bowl time, so you want to get on the action. New DraftKings customers, bet $5. You'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use that promo code OG24. Again, that's OG24. You bet $200. You bet $5, you'll get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, only on DraftKings. And again, I know that with the Super Bowl, there's everything from anytime touchdown, first to, race to 10, all sorts of stuff that happens. And it's all there on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So use that promo code OG24 if you're a first-time customer. You bet $5, you will get $10. You will get $200 in bonus bets. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I can't count money today. I can't.
Well, what's funny is it's the only ad that you have to get right. So
I know. And I keep screwing it up. Anybody can podcast on a Monday, Joe. But apparently,
not you.
I can't.
Anyone could do an ad read after 20 years in the business.
Not me.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Well, we've avoided it long enough. There's still one more thing to get to in the lightning round.
We've got a lot to get to. It's a lightning round.
Watching this game in Garner in sheer terror.
What's the problem?
They can't lose at home.
What's the issue?
To Boston College.
What? Last time I checked, I think it still applies. They got biscuits and cookies from this game. Because you broke the 100 points. I think there was like a free throw promotion as well, right? So I don't know why everybody's up in arms about this.
This was bad for the brand. I'm not gonna lie.
What are you talking about? They got biscuits and cookies.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's good. They won. What's the problem?
So close to telling Kyle, but there's a lot of hockey left, okay? Including Tuesday. Oh, that's a big one. They need Tuesday.
Who are they playing Tuesday?
Pitt.
Oh, that's right.
They gotta start putting a few of these into their cart. They've got two Pitts, a Duke, and a Klemp in their next. I mean, this is it. This is their season. This is it. Got to go 2-2.
Lauren and I talked about this on the ACC Panic Room, all part of OG fans. And I was looking at that stretch of basketball, and we identified this a couple weeks ago. There was nobody on their schedule. It was like don't do anything stupid stretch, which
I'll put some respect on Stanford's name. Come on.
Kind of sort of did. Whatever. But now they are entering into the, oh man,
you're in the great game now.
It's not about losing. It's about winning.
No, you gotta stack a few.
If you're going to do anything here, you have to win if you're going to make the NCAA tournament. And the way they've been playing, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
I agree.
something's just off about that team, man. And I can't put my finger on it. It's not like they don't have talent.
I don't understand struggling with Boston College. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was the one that kind of I was watching in terror. I was watching in terror.
You had a very like an epiphany like Saturday watching hoops, didn't you? Between Duke going, damn it, John.
Shire, why do you want me to make you like you?
I've been telling you, this ain't old Duke, man. And then now this with Carolina, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, Boston College is not good.
I know.
Like Boston College and Miami are bad.
And honestly, if Earl Grant and Boston College can properly inbound a damn ball,
I know.
maybe they actually walk out of there with a win. It doesn't go overtime, which was controlled by Carolina, but woo, scary hours in Chapel Hill, folks. Scary hours.
Hey, but the opportunity is in front of them. Positive vibes only.
You're right.
These next 4 games, they can go 2-2 as long as it's not a sweep of Pitt.
You're right.
So
you're right.
Beat Pitt, beat Clem.
And the Pitt rivalry.
The rivalry. Or just get the magic bullet against Duke. Let's get it out of the way.
Can we
let's put that one in the holster.
Can we get Bubba on this week to not talk about Duke Carolina games?
Just the real rivalry.
The real rivalry that happens on Tuesday night. The capital R rivalry.
Man, they're playing twice in 2 weeks.
2 rivalry games in a week? Man, that's rough. Big thanks to Hometown Realty. Check them out, myhtr.com. It is well past Christmas. I bet you still have stuff you haven't put away yet. And the reason why you haven't put it away is because your house is just not big enough for all of the Funko Pops that you got for Christmas. That matters. So you need a whole room for the Funko Pops. Totally get it. I might need a room. I might need a new house just so I can put all the vintage audio equipment I keep picking up on the cheap. Whatever you might need. New construction is key on that. My Hometown Realty can help you out with that. You buy the house, you sell the house. Whitaker and Hamer can take you to closing. Attorneys and counsels at law, they can handle those personal needs. They can handle small to medium-sized business needs as well. It all starts with visiting their website, wh.lawyer. Locations all across North Carolina to help you out. I know it's been cold. You're not thinking about mosquitoes, but you better, because it'll be spring before you know it, and you're going to want to hang outside, and you don't want to be messing with the mosquitoes. So contact bugsbite.com right now. You can bundle and save with Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. You can start thinking about those treatments coming up in a couple of months.
Moisture barrier. My dad's getting the 360 moisture barrier.
Nice.
Under the palatial Giglio estate on the Eagle Ridge there. He's all fired up for this.
Very cool.
He keeps going, I'm getting the crawl space shrink wrapped. And I'm like, yeah.
That's one way of doing it. That's one way of doing it. Big thanks to our friends at Breeze Through, where we were totally going to be last week, but we weren't. But we'll be there in the future.
We got shut down by the man.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. That's the issue with being an independent podcast. Sometimes the man won't let you be. It's all good. But Breeze Through will let you be. Great coffee, great selection of snacks, awesome beer caves, and of course, gas, kind of important. So download their app. You can find ways to save with our friends at Breeze Through. Just head on over to breezethrough.com. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe, some OG sports phone calls from the weekend.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
All right, what I pulled from the voicemail line, Joe, I got a couple of states and I got a couple of Dukes. Plus, our Duke guy called back. Do you want to start with our Duke guy? Are you in the mood?
No, we'll end with our Duke guy.
Okay, we'll end with the Duke guy. Actually, you know what? Let's start out on a happy note and then end with the brutal call from the Duke guy. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys. This is Aria. I'm 8 years old, and I just watched Saturday night's main event, and I saw Rhea Ripley beat Nia Jax for the belt, and I want to know who you guys think she's going to fight at WrestleMania.
We appreciate the call. I watched a little bit of the replay of that match with Rhea Ripley, my new fave, and Nia Jax. Nia got a handful. I'll let Joe go look that one up on the internet.
I did. I saw.
Oh, you saw it? You saw it? Okay. Gotcha.
This is an 8-year-old caller.
I understand. Well,
proceeding with caution.
If the 8-year-olds watch the Saturday night main event between those two, I think we're fine here.
Hey, curse or no, she might be the first who hasn't cursed.
That's a good point. Good point. So here's what I would say. I am in my re-entry to the WWE. I know this is all setting up for, there's a Royal Rumble and then we got WrestleMania coming up.
Yes.
If I understand the storyline cooking that's taking place, they're kind of clearing the deck for Rhea for a potential Becky Lynch return.
Either one. You got Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair.
And we got Charlotte Flair, who I think is also
out on the horizon.
Yes. So that's how this stuff is kind of setting up.
If either could be healthy for WrestleMania in April, sure.
That would be a pretty big event.
Yep.
Right. So that's kind of where these things are setting up right now. But to Joe's point, it does kind of come down to health at this thing. I did not realize that the women's division has been kind of going through a lull here because of some of those big names. Rhea has obviously filled that void, as I discovered a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I might watch WrestleMania for the first time in ages. That's kind of where we're headed right now.
They've gone to this 2-night deal, which I don't
I don't like it.
But
I don't
get
like
it. Money's money.
I don't like it. All right, let's take some state calls. This is from a 252.
Giglio, I just got to say, after today, can you at least admit now that we fucking suck? I mean, how can you lose this game again? The team is half empty, and you're going to sit here and say that we don't suck, but we're not good. Like, we fucking suck. Just fucking say it and be truthful. I get he's your boy, and I get he's your friend. But just be honest with the people.
Wow. If they were not good, they would lose by 10. Like I said, I thought they could get run out of the gym. They did not get run out of the gym.
That's where we've shifted this to?
No, I'm just saying, like, they were really bad in 22. Like, they were terrible in 22. That's where I'm going on the, they're not that bad.
They might miss out on the ACC tournament.
They might.
That's right.
Hey, if Boston College is over here winning in Chapel Hill, then yeah, they're in deep trouble.
They are in deep trouble.
But I mean, what they lose? They lost by 6. They lost by 3. They lost by 3. They lost by 2. They won by 1.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost. Wake got them pretty good. I think Virginia is the one that bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you because I saw Virginia get run again at home this week. That's the one that bothers me. If they played Virginia every week, I would tell you they'll probably lose by 30 tonight. So, but no, I don't think they're that.
The problem that we're at with NC State is we can get into coaching nuances and running plays and all sorts of stuff. Man, you can run all the plays you want. If you can't freaking make shots, then
they can't make layups. What they can make,
Ben Brooks can't dunk either.
They can't make threes. They can't make layups. The only thing they're capable of making is a contested 2.
Cool.
A contested 12-footer.
Make the whole plane out of contested 2s then. This is from a 910.
Joe, first time caller. Enjoy the show. I'm watching my kids right now run around my house. I'm thinking about their future, and I'm thinking about all the money I've wasted giving to NC State. If there's any young guys out there, any young bucks listening, getting out of school, starting to make a little money, just take that money, put it in a Roth, earn your percentage. Compound interest is great. Do not waste your money on these people who don't want to win. It's too late for me. My wife's looking at me right now. She looks kind of mad. Man, just keep on doing it, man. Maybe things will change. Keep on doing what you're doing. You keep on getting what you're getting, baby. Later. Go Pack.
I love the Roth IRA suggestion. I've been trying to tell you that.
I mean, I just did.
Okay. We're good now.
I just converted over.
We're good. We're good. That's excellent advice.
It is.
It shouldn't be on the fans either. I mean, I'm going to undo my one good deed of the weekend, but it took all of and I did it, and I'm about to undo it. But I did find it interesting that Randy Woodson was at the game.
Okay.
Sitting in his seat directly across in the arena.
Okay.
Where he was. It took all of my strength not to tweet SMU's in the building. Randy Woodson's here. I wonder if there's like a giant bag underneath his seat. Like, why? Like, I mean, why?
Got to survive. It was to preserve the league.
Preserve.
Joe. The league, the conference was saved, Joe. The conference was saved. All right, to 919.
Guys, I just took my boys to the game on Saturday, and I was thinking about what you all said about how State was not a bad team on Friday, but that, they were all right team. They're 9-10. They just shot 30% for the game from field goal percentage and 18% behind the three. I think Josh Goodson just reported something on Twitter about them shooting 8 from 56 from three for the last 3 games. And what you continue to talk about the real world of basketball today. I would just like to say, I also want to live in a real world, and a team that does those things is a bad team, not a mediocre team, not an all right team. Bad. That's reality. I'm not commenting anything further than the fact that that's what's actually happening. Okay? Let's also live in reality as well when we're talking about what we're actually seeing on the court. Go back.
There you go.
Here are their losses from 22 when they were actually bad. You ready?
Oh boy. Okay.
Are you ready?
All right.
Lost to Carolina by 20, lost to Notre Dame by 12, lost to Wake by 18, lost to Carolina again by 10, lost to Wake again by 26.
They lost to Wake by 26. I don't remember that.
Down there. Lost to FSU by 13.
Yeah.
Lost to Clemp in the ACC tournament. Lost to Duke by 15. Like, when you get hammer jobbed, I'm trying to just be real nice. Lost to Wright State by 14. When you get hammer jobbed, that's when you're a bad team. Okay. This year, they're not good from the 3-point line.
No.
Let's look. Ken Palm, 3-point line, 312. Okay.
Their effective field goal percentage.
They're not good from the 3-point line.
But it goes beyond the 3. I think their effective field goal percentage is like at 2. Like, I looked at Ken Palm last night. It was what, like 245? Like 245th?
I don't see that without the 3-point number. Their 2-point percentage is 174.
Okay.
So again, if they get hammer job, which they very might well do tonight.
That's just Duke, though.
You got to keep getting hammer job. No, they play Wake. I mean, they play Clemp. They could very well.
I'll be curious.
Like, I'm just trying to make sure you see the difference between 22 and this.
Yeah, I think. But here's why.
22, you're bad.
Right. I think, but the problem here before we go to these 2 Duke calls.
Yes.
The issue that's taking place is the cumulative effect of what we've seen over the last couple of years. To
push back on that, they made the actual NCAA tournament in 2023. Like, I don't understand why that gets memory hold.
And then let's also not memory hold that before the ACC tournament run, they weren't. Okay.
Last year.
Right. So this is where you get into.
So you'd rather remember that they lost 5 of their last 6 games in the regular season than what they did in the postseason.
No. The frustration that's bubbling out here is a cumulative effect about where the program is, and probably more so if I can pinpoint the problem here. We can spend more time on this depending on how tonight goes. It is a frustration of you had a chance to change the direction and the momentum.
Then you didn't spend any money this offseason.
And the question then becomes why?
Well, there you go.
Why? Why would you not capitalize on the momentum? Right. And that's now you got this frustration that's taking place. All right, let's go to a Duke call from a 919.
Yeah, this is Graham getting ready to sit down and watch the Miko Rantanen debut. Just wanted to call and say that a good win by Duke. You know, weird shit happens in Winston, but that just shows how high this Duke team's floor is because they didn't play well. They had weird foul trouble, and Wake gave them a hell of a game with some physical play, and they came out on top. Shout out to Shire and the boys, and hope y'all have a good rest of the day.
Yeah. So now that was a nice, rational Duke call. Let's see what James has for us.
Are you ready for this? It's your call. I don't have to play it.
No.
Okay.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Ovies, I hope life is treating you great. Giglio, I hope things are going good for you. Now, Giglio, I didn't call to, make fun of you or point out the fact that, that Duke wasn't going to beat Wake or dispute your ridiculous argument that Duke isn't a monster as you compared basketball today as it was 25 years ago or anything like that. No, far from it. Let me make sure I have this right. I just called up to just say one thing to you, Giglio. Let me make sure I have this right. Let me try this. Scoreboard, motherfucker! Now, did I get that right? Okay. Have a wonderful day, fellas.
No, that's okay.
Here's my curiosity. I have a, you know how you had your existential week last week?
Yeah.
There is a phenomenon that takes place that I don't quite understand. In that your team wins. And rather than enjoying the victory, because we saw this after the college football playoff with Ohio State and all that kind of stuff, right? Rather than enjoying the victory, you spend time going online and being an ass, right?
Well, I think that's part of where we are now.
I guess, but it's like
you would have gone to your friends and talked to them back in the day. It just wouldn't have been social media. It would have been, you would have
but that's
enjoyed the next time you saw them.
I think that's different. That's you messing with your boys.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about, I don't know you. You are a stranger, right? Like there's a guy in my mentions because I used not for SEO, but I used the headline after Carolina had won 4 in a row that UNC was revving up while NC State was kind of stuck in neutral, right? That was fall that week, right? And like for 2-3 days in a row, UNC, when they would look, UNC still revving up? I'm like, dude, like at the time, yeah, man, looks like maybe they were building some stuff together. See where it goes. That was the whole point of the conversation. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think you went to high school at Cardinal Gibbons?
Yeah.
There weren't like people you weren't friendly with that you still talk to. Like when I was growing up, where I was growing up,
yeah,
there were, it's funny. We didn't have this in football. We didn't have this in college basketball. Of all the things, it was hockey.
Oh, interesting.
There was a lot of Ranger fans.
Sure.
There were some Devils fans.
Sure.
Some, but it was rare. They were getting good though. And then there were Islanders fans.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was kind of like State, Carolina, and Duke.
Okay.
Right? So those people weren't your friends, but the first person you were going to go find was the Islander fan. The first person you were going to go find was the Devil fan, or whoever won.
Yeah.
Whoever ended up winning the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you did in real life, in real life with people.
Yes.
Or if you saw somebody at the Quick Check behind high school, and they had a Ranger hat on, and the Devils won the night before, I would say something to that person.
Okay.
If those were the things I cared about, right?
Okay.
Like I'm the guy in the airport who sees like your team, and I'll try to come up with some esoteric fact about your team, and then they always look at me like, "Why would you even know?" Well, I don't talk trash to them. I like to give them a little bit of knowledge about their team that maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. Or about their rival. Give them something about their rival. We had SMU fans in front of us on Saturday. There was 2 SMU fans in front of us on Saturday.
Best fans money can buy.
And I'm trying to. I was coming up with a Penn State zinger for them, right? Like from football, because they care about football. They don't care about basketball.
Yeah.
So I think that's natural, but again, we've established I will be 50, and this generation talks to people. I appreciate that James listened to this program, heard what Ben said, the proper way to do it, and then did it. Perfect. So I appreciate that.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. We'll see you all tomorrow. We got an After Dark tonight following with Duke and State. We'll see you then.